And in case you are not there yet, in addition to that, the priest being caught behind the scenes there, they traveled with Erika and she discusses Charlie's affinity for Saint Michael. Take a listen.
When we first started dating, I asked him, I was like, why don't you wear a cross? I was like, why? You say you're a Christian, but you don't wear a cross. He's like, I don't know. I'm not a jewelry guy. And I was like, I understand. So for his first birthday present, I got him this cross. And then throughout time, I would always add different medals to it. And so he loved St. Michael. And so, every time he'd put this on, he just felt like it was his armor.
Here are a few things Candace Owens deliberately also ignores in this footage. Erika Kirk said when she started dating Charlie, he never wore a cross. So she said, you're a Christian, but you don't wear it. She said, no. The reason Erika Kirk is more engaged in that him wearing a cross and she's the one who endowed it with St. Michael. Even though he said it feels like his armor, she endowed it because she is a curated Catholic. Okay? Then when she met Charlie and they got married, they rarely went to church together. But definitely, she still has the roots of being a Catholic with her, right? So there are certain things about Catholicism that Catholicism that she's going to really hang on to, even if she's not an attending Catholic as before. Now, have you ever seen a husband who wears a genuinely simple necklace? It could be just a love heart. It could be just anything that the wife gave them, and they feel like if they don't have it on, they don't feel happy or protected. It is just normal that a husband will find what their wife gave them as their armor. It is okay. And the fact that she adorned it with St. Michael. St. Michael is not only something that Catholics know. Yes, it's saints and saints like that. It's more Catholic, but it's normal that his wife would have adorned it with St. Michael, which he felt was a protective armor for him. But it doesn't mean that he was becoming Catholic or You made it sound like he was going to become a Catholic the next time. You told him he's too dumb, he's too smart to be Catholic, to be Protestant. Let him take the last step, which means you have seen him go through other steps. Candace, Lord. Anyway, hear what she's about to tell you. Okay? Because Candy Baby, she lives in Candyland.
Are we done here, guys? He felt like St. Michael was his armor, okay? Now, I wanted to point that out because in retrospect, I get more and more just amazed and upset at how vicious and cruel and unnecessary people are. Just all of the videos people made when I wasn't even mentioning it as a big deal. I was doing a tribute video to Charlie and being like, we were all hoping that he was going to take the step and become Catholic, gave no details. And the next thing I knew, Operation Christian Zionist Influencer was, while I was in a state of trauma and grieving, coming after me and saying that it wasn't true. And I don't think any of them have made videos since clarifying that no, Candace seems to have been telling the truth, because who cares about the truth when you can just like dunk on Candace?
Candace, of all the lies you have told, how many have you retracted? So you want them to make a video to apologize for when you lied and then you came out and you backtracked? Candace, sometimes I feel like the girl is not there. Sometimes I'm knocking that coconut head. Are you there? Anyone in there? So in her la la land, the candy land where she lives, people need to come apologize. Meanwhile, she has not proven anything, okay? Same way she defended, she was defending Tate by bringing a little child. I spoke about that in the last video. Candace, is anybody in there? Wow, Lord. I don't know how her husband handles her, the people who work with her. How does she do it? How do they do it? She sounds like that kind of human being who lies for a living. I think in her private life, she does the same. Because it's the way she lies naturally. Definitely she does that even in her private life. It cannot just be that it's something she does only when she's on camera. She looks like the kind of person who would do it in private. Because it's not like after doing that, no. She always has to look for a way to insert herself in there. Why showing this video? She made sure to avoid showing the part where the wife spoke about him observing the Sabbath. Is the Sabbath also part of Catholicism, madam? Candace, let me show that clip.
Open the junk drawer. Everyone has a junk drawer. Open the junk drawer, said Shabbat Shalom, put it in there, turned the phone off, slammed the door, and he felt so free because he was unreachable for 24, 48 hours.
So, Mrs. Catholicism, is Shabbat Shalom also part of Catholicism? Is it also a Catholic culture? Huh? Candace knows how to pick and choose what works for her. When it doesn't work for her, she pretends as if it doesn't exist. We're still waiting for you to address Kanye, sir. Where's ma'am?
And here is her answer.
There's other theories swirling around about Charlie's assassination.
Right.
How does that make you feel?
When everything happened, my phone died and became a black hole. I just didn't turn it on for weeks on end. I've intentionally insulated myself because I need to guard my heart, and I need to be there for my kids, and I need to be there for Turning Point. And what I've realized through all of this is that everyone grieves differently. Everyone is trying to figure out, and I don't blame them, how does this happen? How does somebody become so radicalized where they can justify this in their own head? We just lost one of the greatest voices of our generation. Why? How? What's behind it? Like, everyone's trying to process this. And I respect that. But where my heart is just asking for some grace is for the ones who were there that day. They have to relive that every single day. He didn't die in a car accident. He didn't die from cancer. He was assassinated. And the difference between this and previous assassinations in this country is there was no social media. There was no AI. I can tell you how many fake images are out there of all of this. And again, my only request is that just please pray and consider and think about whatever you put online, because it's going to impact his kids in the future. I don't want my kids to go on the internet one day when they're older and see things that it's just, we're all trying to process this in their own way, and I appreciate that. But just some grace would be nice.
Well, Candace has heard her. She says some grace would be nice. You remember when Candace said not the only two people who can shut her up are Erika Kirk and her husband? Then she came back and changed her mind and said nobody can shut her up. Now, Erika Kirk is asking for some grace. So will she take heed to that grace Erika Kirk is asking for? Of course, you know not. It's Candace Owens we're talking about. Okay? Candace is not, even if Erika Kirk were to come out and beg and say, please, Candace, stop, Candace is going to use that as a weapon to finally go after her the way she has always wanted to. So she's been baiting her, hoping she does. But then there are a few things that Widow 2 says here that are, first of all, inaccurate. Widow 2, how did you insulate yourself from online? The reason she said she has insulated herself from online is because she wants to avoid talking about the other conspiracy theories out there. And she knows the biggest person who has had theories out there is Candace Owens. I said in one of my previous videos talking about when she was addressing this interview, Erika Kirk must have gone in, allegedly, and told this guy, Jesse, and say, you know what, Jesse, don't ask me, I don't want to talk about Candace. So he would have looked for a creative way to ask the question, and she is also looking for a creative way to answer it without addressing Candace Owens, because she is the biggest conspiracy theorist out there spreading. She has like 700 conspiracy theories at this point. You counting them is a waste of time. She is the highest person perpetuating the highest conspiracies. So definitely this is addressing Candace Owens. So when she says she insulated herself from social media, that's a way from her to also self-preserve herself, to avoid confronting the Candace Owens of the subject, and also to avoid taking a position that might bite her in the ass tomorrow. So self-preservation, insulating yourself, no ma'am, you've not been insulating yourself. If you insulated yourself, you would not know about how many conspiracy theories or whether the people who were there on that day have been attacked. How did you know that? If you've insulated yourself, you will not know that information. Also, one more thing you will not know if you insulated yourself truly is that you will not know about the AI images that are out there. Okay? One other thing she said during this interview that was very, let's say, pretentious is she was saying that why would you go watching the videos of her husband, this thing happening to her husband? She was trying to emotionally shame people who watched it. And it's not like people went looking for this. People were bombarded by these images. It's not by choice. I, for one, am one of those people who really does my best to avoid watching any triggering images. But I had no choice. I just bumped onto that image and it couldn't leave my head. Now she wants to emotionally shame us, like, why would you waste your life watching that? Please, if you really want us to dissect what she said in that interview, she did emotional shaming a couple of times, which was very disingenuous to begin with. Please, we are really empathetic to you, but please don't take it and talk to us as if we are now some idiots because you want to portray an emotional image of you don't want to watch this. Be a sicko. Please, Erika, widow number 2, please, I'm begging you. Let us concentrate on having this empathy and grace we are having for you, even though you and your husband don't deserve it. But we are giving it not because it is what you deserve, but because it is what we as human beings do. We are people who want to do it because we love to do it. But please don't emotionally shame us because something happened and we have no control over it. It was very disingenuous for her to do that. And also, the theories. Erika, don't worry, darling. You'll be fine, okay? You and your kids will be fine. Trust me. I understand the sentiment of her fearing her kids watching this someday. The truth is this, someday they will see it. It's not something I wish. It's something I wish that everything that happened to him, the images of it could just be wiped off the internet before the kids are grown up enough to watch them. But unfortunately, the internet is forever right now. So they might see it someday. Maybe they will intentionally try their best to stay away from it, but children are curious. They want to see what happened to Papa. Unfortunately, they might see it someday. And I understand the sentiment of her saying that she really wishes that these kind of theories are not being thrown out there. And the truth is this, if her children watch Candace Owens podcast in future, definitely they will see where Candace Owens is leading her crowd. And they will see how she is accusing the organization her father created, their father created, of being part of the people who hurt him. I understand that sentiment, and it is really sad. Like I've been saying, I don't like Charlie Kirk as a person. I've never liked him as a person. I didn't know much about him, but the little I've researched a lot about him after his passing. I've known a lot about him. Before, he was just like a byproduct of me researching Candice or the other people. But now I have learned a lot about him, more than I would like to. I don't like the guy personally, but still, what Candice is doing to this guy, it is what we call devilish. She is dismantling the little respect this guy's name still possesses out here to ensure that she turns him into a caricature. She is pretending, people don't stab you only in the face. Sometimes people are looking at you and smiling at you while they're the ones plotting your death. And you're thinking she will be saying that she's looking for justice, but she knows what she's doing. She knows, because exactly what she's doing, all those things she's doing, let's say 80% of them, she doesn't need to be doing them to investigate or find out what happened to her friend, but she does them intentionally. Some of those messages she's leaking has nothing to do with finding out the truth. It has to do with her humiliating him. And it is just the truth. Erika must have seen them. She knows what she's that insulation. She can tell that insulation story to another person, but she has seen them, because even during this interview, at some point, she will still say, that's why when people are asking how she is behaving the way she is behaving, I say, how do you know how people know how you're behaving online if you have internet insulated yourself? Only somebody who has really been consuming online information knows how you are behaving. There are people who have followed up this case and they still don't know whether something is wrong with you, because they have been on the pity the widow case and that's all. But if you know it, you have not internet insulated yourself, lady. I really, really am sorry that you have to go through this, but well, widow one has put you on Front Street. We have to dissect this.
So I think it's a gracious answer, and I think it's a gracious request to, assert first and foremost that people are doing this because they care and they care about Charlie, and also this was a traumatic event that the entire world experienced, and also the reason why the internet is investigating is because the feds aren't.
I'm sorry to cut again. I really try avoiding this, but sometimes some things are just too much. You can't let it go. Candace Owens says the reason she is investigating it, because she's saying internet, she's talking to herself. The reason the internet is investigating this is because the feds are not, okay? Candace Owens is doing the feds job. That's why she's asking. So when she was telling people to release information, not to the feds, but to her, what does she think they're releasing information to the feds to do? To cook soup? Pomo? Rice and stew? What did she think the information they are sending to the feds was for? For them to watch it as telenovela? This lady is too funny.
And not only are they not investigating, they're telling some pretty obvious lies, right?
Well, the long and the short of everything that she's going to say after this is that she's going to turn down Erika Kirk's request. If you want to see her turn it down, go to her channel. I'm done listening to this woman's voice for today. It's too much for my mental health, okay? It's too much, especially when she's lying. It's sometimes it irks me. It's too much. So the long and short of this is that she tells Erika Kirk, your request is a no. You as a CEO, I'm asking you to release all the information you have, not to the feds, but to me, because I don't trust the feds, and I've told my people not to trust the feds. You and Mikey McCoy, you people cannot choose that you want to be famous. And then when you become famous, you say you don't want to be famous. She gives the example of Meghan Markle, who wanted to marry a prince, be a princess. And then when she becomes a princess, she says she doesn't want. That was a very crazy example. And that was a really good on-point example, Candace. I have to give you that. Because you cannot be telling me you want privacy from a Netflix documentary. That is the most shadiest thing. Bam! You can't tell me you want privacy from an interview with Oprah. Girl, you have to pick one. That was a very good example she gave there. But then you can see that Candace Owens has never cared about Erika Kirk's wishes, her wants, needs, or her requests. No. She dropped that request as bait. Even the last week, she was saying that she said if Erika told her to stop, she'll be quiet, but she hasn't said anything. She has just given you a little request now to be what? Gracious towards the people who were there. And she just said no. Basically, no, she doesn't care. She said Mikey McCoy, very suspicious. Okay? Then one more thing she said that was very shocking to me. She said Tyler Boyer is a sexual deviant. I had to go and research if he has ever been accused of something. Fortunately, I don't know why I said unfortunately there. That was quite a leap. I've listened to Candy so much that I'm now crazy. Now, fortunately for Tyler Boyer, he doesn't have any, but TPUSA, when it comes to SA accusations, my God, the folder is long. I will look into that. Someone commented on it. I think that was Uj. Uj or someone commented before about it. And I said I'll look into it. So when she mentioned the sexual deviant thing again, I was like, oh my God, I clutched my purse. I clutched them so hard they scattered. So I went and looked at it. It's a long file. Even though Tyler Boyer is not directly involved, he has been one of the people allege have been covering up the investigations into people who have done things. But then, Candace Owens basically told Erika, you know what, lady? Go screw yourself. I, Candace Owens, I am Charlie Kirk's widow number 1. As for you and your request, you can shove it up your ass and into that handkerchief you're constantly wiping your left eye with. I don't care. Okay? You can whisper it into the camera, whisper it into the moon, the stars, send it through Fox News, send it through CNN, through BBC. I don't care. unless you're sitting on my platform for me to ask you questions I want to ask you, unless you're releasing all the footages I have asked all of you, unless you're sending Tyler Boyer, Mikey McCoy, Mike McCoy, all the McCoys to come to my platform for me to interview them, plus you, ask all the questions and grill you people to I'm satisfied with my investigation, you can go F yourselves. That's the basics of what she said. You can go watch her channel if you really want to be sure of what I'm saying. Go watch her channel. Well, guys, this was a long rant. Today I had time for Candy Baby. I had time. Today I had time for her, okay? I had time. So I decided, let's have a rant. I will look for time and react to Erika Kirk's interview. That interview, ooh, it has some germs in there. You see Erika Kirk and Candace Owens, ooh, they are playing some very good emotional games. Ooh. These two ladies, Widow 1 and Widow 2, man, they know how to get on my nerves. They know how to get on my nerves. One way or the other, they'll get on your nerves. But at the end of the day, I really feel sympathy for Erika because I don't know how she's dealing with this public debacle ongoing on her husband's demise. It must be very difficult for her, especially with 2 young kids. Oof, that's a messy one right there. Mm-mm-mm. But Erika, you too, your activities, that hug you gave JD Vance has not left my brain, okay? I'm still looking at that hug. And you're whispering, your demeanor. There are a lot of things about you that we are still looking. We'll give it time. Okay? With time, we'll see. Well, enough of my ranting. Tell me what you think about Widow 1 and Widow 2. Let me know. Let's have a little test, okay? Who is Widow 1 and who is Widow 2? According to the way things have been playing out, because one of them is Widow 1, one of them is Widow 2. Who do you think should take Widow 1, Erika or Candace? Until next time. Bye.